Hi, everyone. Very exciting to be here. I'm Karim, co-founder of Virtuo. We're a European mobility service with offices in Paris, and we operate our service in 4 countries and 15 different cities. So Virtuo is the new generation of car rental. We created the company 3 years ago because we hated traditional car rental. I'm sure a lot of people in the room have rented cars in their life. The whole process is so painful. And actually, if you think about it, the process hasn't really evolved the last 20 years. And it's crazy to think that it's a $60 billion industry that's controlled by 5 guys who have failed to innovate over the years. So it's still long lines at the counter. It's still endless paperwork. It's still, a frustration to never get the car that you actually booked. And last but not least, you're always super scared about and anxious about if you're going to be invoiced about something you haven't done. And so in response to that, we created Virtuo, which is essentially providing an app to our users to seamlessly access our cars. We rent cars by the day, up to 30 days, and we fully manage our own fleet of cars. I'll come back on the operations in a minute and explain how we do that. But we rent new cars, and those are high-spec cars. So how does it work if you're a customer? Well, first you're going to download the app, right? You're going to register, do a selfie, then upload your documents, and once your profile is validated within the next hour, you can go ahead and book your first car. Very easy, plug in your dates, hours of your trip, selection of cars, you select that car, and on rental day, and that's where the magic happens, you're going to be able to unlock your car with your phone, and before you actually start your rental, we're also going to ask you to do a complete damage report. Very easy, get a 360-degree of the car, and obviously take pictures of any damages that you see. But being a car rental operator, that means operating fleets, right? So we disrupted the whole business approach as well. And as opposed to any traditional car rental company where you need a counter, an agency, real estate investment, we won't have any CapEx investment. The reason why that is that customers go directly to the car. Cars are usually parked in parking, so that's why we deal with major car park operators. On the fleet side, no cars are on our balance sheet. We lease them, and we do this with car manufacturers. We currently have a deal with Daimler on a European level, where we actually lease cars on a very short duration, and that allows us to scale our fleet according to the seasonality of the business. We obviously develop our own tools, because that's essential to our operations, so fleet management tools, and also yield, and obviously on the fraud and security side as well. That is an issue in the business, so we work hard on that. And the last but not least bit of it, and that's a revolution and never seen in the business before, is that we operate our missions of cleaning, inspection, and obviously repairs of the cars thanks to a logistics platform where essentially third-party operators, but also freelancers work with us. We provide them with an app, and they have fully access to our cars, and they operate the business on the ground, and we do that from a back-end part at the office. So who are our customers? They're you, young urban residents, B2C and B2B, across Europe that have completely moved away from the notion of car ownership. They want usership rather than ownership. And the use case is you want a car for a weekend, a holiday, but also obviously for a business trip during weekdays. Our cars are located in city centers, but also in travel hubs, so train station, airports. And just to give you big numbers on our typical user, super young, 31 years old. The average duration of the rentals is 3.5 days to actually 4 days, and the mileage is 450 kilometers. And actually, that long-distance pattern is really what sets us apart from any mobility company that you know of. And if you look at what's been happening in the last 10 years, entrepreneurs, like investors, have been focusing on one bit of mobility, which is solving the short-distance problem. Every trip that would get you, inferior to 100 kilometers, and we're talking about a lot about ride-hailing and lately scooter sharing, but no one has really focused on and solving the question that is, if traveling in a city has become so cheap and so convenient, what happens the day you actually want to travel longer distances? So that's where we position ourselves between traditional car rental, rail, buses, and of course, car ownership. And by the way, if you look at the market that's completely overlooked by investors, that's a 500 billion euro opportunity, $500 billion. And that's calculated by looking at all the trips that Europeans do above 100 kilometers. You, us, do 10 to 15 trips per year above 100 kilometers. And in total, we do 5,000 kilometers on those trips, usually at 30 cents per kilometer. And 75% of all those miles done above 100 kilometers are done by car. And that's huge. And that's a testament that undeniably, cars are by far the best form of long-distance transportation. We feel at Virtuo that this will remain and even grow in the future as autonomous features will happen on cars. And I'm not talking about level 5 robo-taxis features. I'm talking about what the reality, autonomous features happening on cars today. Because if the last time that you spend driving your car can be transformed into productive time, meaning you spend time working, you spend time with your family chatting, you actually watch a movie, then cars will even grow as the best form of transportation for longer distances. The only huge issue, and that's where I don't agree with my friends of Cluno and Drover, is that there's a problem. And the current situation is that people don't want to own cars in cities. I'm talking about big cities. The reason why is that people understand that, obviously it's a waste. If you're spending 5,000 to 6,000 on average per year on your car, and you're actually using it only 1 hour per day, that's 4% utilization, that's a capital waste. And so people realize that, and on top of that, obviously, at the same time, cities are attacking cars so much that you're being bombarded with taxation, we're closing up streets, and so all of this is, obviously, now pushing you away from car ownership. And the last bit of it is that, and you need to look at the younger generation, just not us, but the ones, after us, have completely no wish or willingness to actually buy a car. If you speak with a 20-year-old guy, he's going to tell you, no, I mean, my first salary is going to be spent on, buying the new latest phone. It's going to be spent about investing in mobility solutions in cities, but clearly not to get a loan at the bank to get a new car. And so that's what we do at Virtuo. Initially, we're created to disrupt the car rental industry and solve the issues. But what we think is the bigger mission now is to actually think about this equation that is people don't want cars in cities, they want cars to travel, by basically transforming the car ownership model into a car usership model. And the way we do this, and the way we think we need to do this, is by providing to each one of you the advantages of a personal car without having the painfulness of owning a car. And the strategy that we call internally ACE, called accessibility, comfort, everywhere for everyone, is a strategy moving forward at Virtuo. So accessibility stands for providing you with the best product. If you rent at Virtuo, you'll be able to rent a car, extend your rental within the app, add more mileage, transfer the key and share the key to additional drivers, and even split the invoice with additional drivers. And we're going to pursue and work hard on product. But it's also about the efficiency of getting in touch with us, our customer support. We're reachable 24/7 via chat. If you have any questions on your car, we answer it within 2 minutes. Comfort, and that's important, is about reproducing the feeling of new cars. We want to be able to provide you with a catalog of different brands, and more importantly, catalogs of different drivetrains. So soon to be on Virtuo, we're going to be able to access electric cars and hybrid cars. And everywhere, obviously, owning a car, the luxury and beauty of it is having a car around the corner, and that's what we do. So we extend our locations within cities, 10 minutes around where you live, and also in train stations and airports, because that's obviously a need for travelers around the world. So far, we've been super successful. The growth has been quite phenomenal. And obviously, we're very proud about one thing, which is the quality scores. We're by far, the best rated mobility app on any stores. And I engage you to actually look at this and actually try the service. But what makes us proud is the NPS, Net Promoter Score, which is at 80. And that's a revolution. That's 3 times superior to the traditional car rental industry. So we're actually giving back satisfaction and an industry that was plagued with dissatisfaction. And all of that satisfaction is creating a huge repeat rate. And on customer acquisition, 60% of our new users are coming out of word of mouth. All of that and that quality execution was recognized by investors, top VC firms, among which Balderton Capital, Iris Capital, and Raise Capital. That money helped us to scale. We're now present in 4 countries, as I said, 15 different cities, 50 different pickup locations. and we're growing fast, super fast, as you can see on the curve of bookings. And we manage up today 2,500 cars. That's massive. That's only after 3 years. And the rest is yet to come. I'd like to finish with a small movie of what we do. Hope you'll enjoy it, and happy to discuss about Virtuo further with each one of you. Thank you.
What's stopping you from acting on impulse? From letting go? From staying a child at heart? From letting someone new into your life? What's stopping you from a life off the beaten track? From going against the tide? What's stopping you from escaping the 9 to 5? From being free? From pushing even further? Nothing. If you rent a Virtuo. The new generation of car rental. Just book a car and go.